Keep Right with Ralph K. Ginorio. PSYWAR. Psychology applied to confuse and undermine the willpower and effectiveness of enemies is as much a weapon of war as our rifles and hydrogen bombs. We citizens of the Western world who are loyal to Judeo-Christian and Enlightenment principles have been under a psychological assault for generations. Our diverse enemies, who are all utopians, share one objective. They wish to usher in a post-Judeo-Christian, post-American, post-British, post-European world order. Our ideals of human rights, individual autonomy, and the inherent worth of every human being obstruct their efforts to construct their worldly paradise. If each of us remains free to determine our own values, priorities, and choices, then they can never purge society of wrongthink. Their new world order demands our re-education. Everything that the West values is at stake in this war for the mind and soul of our culture. They have declared that neither the Holy Bible nor the United States Constitution have any relevance to their visions of a better world. Instead of remaining recognizably Jewish, Christian, or American, we each must be reconstituted into what used to be called a new Soviet man. Purged of our human frailties, we will then become fit denizens of their paradise. For their future to be born, our past and present selves and society must die. This is why the West has been hyper-sexualized for the past 70 years. Only by unshackling the raw power of our sex drives could our default Judeo-Christian values have been so effectively undermined. Sexuality is indeed integral to a healthy adult life. As a part of our psyche, identity, and habits, healthy sex can and does add depth to intimate relationships and a joyous quality to existence. It is the drive that brings couples together and children into existence. However, for nearly 3/4 of a century, our popular culture has elevated sexuality above all other positive facets of a healthy life. Thanks to this, the pleasure principle has replaced the golden rule. Lust eclipses love, and anyone who has not cast off all other human virtues, imperatives, and drives to focus exclusively on sex are ridiculed as prudes or worse. Abortion on demand has become the blood right sacrifice of the modern West. More babies have been murdered by abortionists since 1973 than were killed by Hitler, Stalin, and Mao combined. Many of these vulnerable innocents have died so that sex could be divorced from procreation and titillation from responsibility. Many feminists even assert that without abortion on demand, women can never be free. Homosexuality has become the fulcrum in all contemporary struggles over cultural norms and shared morality. The vast majority of humanity is wired to find homosexuality to be abnormal. Such aversion transcends culture. It is basic to our species' survival instincts. Today, many well-meaning people in the West try to be tolerant of homosexuality because they do not want to see themselves as bigots. Such toleration usually requires an act of willpower, but is often seen as a worthwhile effort in recognition of our common humanity. However, when faced with middle-aged transvestites parading their deviance in front of innocent pre-sexual children, toleration gives way to parental protective instincts. There are few elements to the human psyche that are more powerful than a parent's imperative to protect their children. prematurely sexualizing children attacks one of the psychological foundations of human identity, the instinct to protect one's young. It is precisely because few people can honestly agree to disagree about such primal drives that these drives are being purposefully provoked. As individuals and as a society, we have been propagandized over generations to give up our traditional identities, moralities, and taboos. Described as racist, sexist, homophobic, and a danger to all life on Earth, that is the climate, we are exhorted to abandon our traditional beliefs and reject our cultural heritage. Census data has indicated over time that fewer than 3% of the United States population identifies as being homosexual. Is it even remotely rational to contend that every customary interaction and cultural institution must be upended in order to avoid giving offense to this minuscule group? Laws and manners have already been modified to decriminalize homosexuality. So why is the push to redefine everything into a homosexually friendly form intensifying? This culture war has never been about sexuality. It is about the raw exercise of power. If a formerly Judeo-Christian American people can be brought to accept the premature sexualization of children by anyone as the new normal, then a breaking point will have been reached. A populace who would accept this would accept anything. If we knowingly permit anyone of any orientation to sexualize children, then we will have betrayed our own very humanity. As individuals and as a people, we will have violated our most basic human drive to protect innocent children. By failing to risk everything to stop such horror, we will have become accomplices in the victimization of our own little girls and boys. Having committed or permitted such obscenity, we will become worthless in our own heart of hearts. Deep down, we will never forgive ourselves. When those who would steal our freedom to empower themselves come, we will accept their dominion. Why? Because we each will understand anyway, that no one who knowingly permits the sexual violation of children can possibly be worthy of freedom. Because of this, we will accept our own enslavement as being just. This is but one aspect of the psychological warfare that is being waged against the Judeo-Christian West. Abortion on demand similarly degrades our respect for human life, including our own. However, those victims are largely invisible. Preteen children and adolescents are not. None of this need succeed. If we fight our own degradation and that of our children, if we deny their false accusations of bigotry, and if we strive to be worthy of our lives and freedom, then we will not succumb. If we obey the dictates of our conscience and refuse to betray children to any type of sexual predator, we will preserve our humanity. We can only remain free if we are, in our own judgment, worthy of remaining free.